Hello and welcome back to the Chasing Poker Greatness YouTube channel. Today's video is another 500 NL Play and Explain. If you like what you see in today's P&E and you're interested in learning more, submit an application to the CPG Wolves Coaching for Profits program, where you can join a pack of poker players hungry for success, as well as get coaching from Coach Brad and myself. Without any further ado, here's today's Play and Explain. Gonna 3-bet King Queen suited versus under the gun. Oh, actually, it's not under the gun. It's not a hijack open. I guess the cutoff is a new player. I love King Queen suited, man. I think I like it more than Ace King. I feel like okay. Get 4-bet. Little bit on the small side. Would expect like the average 4-bet size to be closer to 120. Wouldn't really matter. I mean, facing hijack 4-bet, never folding King Queen suited. But definitely not when I'm getting a better than average price. And on this flop, unless something awful happens, I imagine I'm just going with this hand, or going broke with this hand. But still want to make sure I'm going broke the right way. So just going to start out with a call and hopefully let him go kind of nutso with whatever low equity hands he wants to go nutso with. 3 of spades, definitely going broke if he jams here. Oh, he checks. Interesting decision, though. I think with SPR1, I'm going to lean towards checking back, give him a chance to just blast the river with, I don't know, Ace-King, Ace-10. That part of his range, Ace-5 suited. That's one of the disastrous things that I was talking about on the flop. I don't really know where I expect the bluffs to come from anymore. I guess like pocket 10s is one hand that might bluff. Maybe a hand like King Jack suited turns itself into a bluff on this river, trying to just fold out a queen or some sort of weaker ace-x. But yeah, this is probably one of the only things that could have happened that's going to make me fold. It's really hard to figure out where the bluffs come from now. And if he's even like slightly under bluffing the river, then I think I'm kind of toast. Open Jack 10 of diamonds in middle position, get 3-bet by the cutoff. Easy continue here. Not bad at all. I think you could definitely have a strategy that plays check raises on this flop texture, but I don't think that I'm going to be putting a ton of money in with this hand. I think there's just a lot of equity changing turns or texture changing turns that are going to be tough for me to navigate from out of position once I like define my hand a bunch and then say like have to check the turn on this type of turn, but also an 8 or a queen or a king. So gonna reserve my check raises without, I don't know, some sort of queen in it or something for later down the road. Check back on the turn. I think makes a lot of sense from his range. I think we have a question now on the river, whether to go for block or check. Obviously not great. We get a little bit counterfeited by like the aces, kings, and queens, but still think that we can target Jack X and maybe even 10X on the river. Don't think those hands are going to bet once the 4-liner peels on the turn. So I'm just going to do the betting myself. I think I want to get called now that he doesn't. Nice. Yeah. I'm just going to say, I think I want to get called once he doesn't snap the river. I expect his overpairs and obviously hands that are better than overpairs to call pretty quickly there. I'm going to defend the big blind with 7-4 of spades. bet if the small blind lets me. And he lets me. Small C bet, flop, open ender plus backdoor flush draw. Gonna be check raising this. Classic. Check raise, flop with a draw, and turn a pair. I used to go back and forth on what I like doing here, but I've since come around to just continuing to barrel, almost as if I didn't make the pair. I still think that's the best way to realize my equity. And that's sort of like the main thing that I want to do with, you know, even once I turn a little bit of showdown, I still think my hand wants to realize its equity just by continuing to bet and then betting rivers where I improve. I've gone back and forth so many times on how I play this spot, like check raise a flush draw, make bottom pair, check raise an open ender, make bottom pair, mid pair, whatever. Oh, who knows? Maybe this guy's just gonna fold and I don't even have to worry about what to do on the river. Wow, last second call. Wonder what that means. Probably wasn't thinking about raising, I assume. Don't think people use that much time to think about raising. Don't think very many good things happen when I check, so I'm actually just gonna block the river here. Hard to figure out where his like bluffs are gonna come from. He folds pretty quickly. I think that when I check the river, most of the time he's just gonna bet with hands that are better than mine, so straights. I think hands like sets and a lot of the two pairs just either raise, like bet 3 bet the flop or raise a turn or something like that. And even if they don't, I don't know if they value bet on a 4-liner. I guess sets I'm behind, so to scratch that one out of the equation. But like worst 2 pair or like king X, I guess that would be like my main bluff catch target. I think just checks back on the river, so I think it's another spot where I should just do the betting myself. I think he can go either way with queen jack suited, especially facing an early position open, or versus specifically an early position open. Just gonna flat this time. And very likely it's turned out with a check call. Error. Maybe it goes check check. Holding jack deuce suited on the other table. Don't think this hand is strong enough to check raise even versus the small size, so sticking with the plan. Check call. Pretty wet turn. Gonna be an interesting spot if he comes out with a big turn C bet. Would be really close with queen jack, I think. But he checks back. And now it's funny how I go from being a little scared on the turn to feeling like this is a pretty comfortable value bet. Nice. Ace jack in the big blind. Don't flop much. I think I'll still peel versus a small C bet and then fold versus like half pot or larger probably. Not going to be one of the hands that I bluff this turn. Probably wouldn't do a ton of betting on this turn. I think generally the king is going to be better for the PFR's range than it is for mine. He's going to have just like all the strongest king X's, and obviously when I don't 3-bet pre-flop, I'm not going to have hands like ace king and king queen. Close spot as to whether to check or bluff the river. I think this ace high is strong enough to check and just I mean, the only other ace high I lose to is ace queen. Expecting to check back like hands like ace 6, ace 7, ace 8, ace 10. Yeah, end up losing versus ace 5, but don't know if there's too much I could have done there. Immediately get right back into it with pocket kings and flop a full house. Actually going to start out with check here. One of the cool things that we've seen in the data is that blind versus blind on paired boards, the big blind does a ton of stabbing. So I think he'll put money in the pot with hands that just can't call a bet or will never call a bet. And just going to start check raising here and try to play for stacks if we can by the river. But I think this method or this strategy still lets us play huge pots versus his, you know, gut shots, open enders, and obviously his 10x is still getting stacked, but it gives me the added benefit of him sometimes just putting money in the pot with like 7-8 suited or jack 6. Just random things, random hands that can call a bet on the flop, but can try to take a stab themselves. And guessing that's the type of range that I ran into once he bet folds the flop. Unfortunate that we didn't get to play a huge one there for the play and explain. Thanks for watching today's play and explain. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider giving us a like and subscribing to the YouTube channel. It helps us out a lot and lets us know what type of content you want to see in the future. Thanks again for watching today's play and explain.
This is Chasing Poker Greatness. Coach Brad approved. Are you a lone wolf searching for the ultimate pack? The CPG Wolf program is a close-knit brotherhood hell-bent on one thing only: chasing poker greatness. Powered by bleeding-edge wolf strats and led by Coach Brad and his lieutenants, CPG Wolves are systematically prepared for almost any spot they'll encounter on the green felt. If you want to plug into an elite team and have a step-by-step game plan to realize your full poker potential, you can apply at cpgwolves.com. Space is limited, and the pack is only as strong as its weakest member. So only the hungriest, grittiest, and most driven will be accepted into the program. Applications are open at cpgwolves.com.